Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a comprehensive review of Dispatch. Whether you're doing deliveries, doing rideshare, or simply running errands, Dispatch has been a game changer for many. In this video, I'll be sharing my experiences, highlighting the highs and the lows, and giving my overall verdict on if this app lives up to the hype. Stay tuned. So starting with the pros. They do have decent pay. I have to come off that right off the bat because I know that's obviously what people look for, and the pay is pretty much there. The opportunities I've seen, the pay is there. The other pro is cargo van loads. They actually have cargo van orders. You know, a lot of gig apps, a lot of people just getting into the cargo van industry, especially ones just using gig apps. Sometimes, you know, it's not the greatest feeling when you have loads that can fit in your SUV or your truck and you can't really capitalize on the space in your cargo van. Another pro is long hauls. I've gotten one order in particular. It was 680 something miles and the total pay was like 980. It was almost $1,000. And it struck me by surprise. I actually needed to get tires on my van, so I didn't take the opportunity, but it was a good one. I just wasn't ready to do 600 something miles right then and there. And another pro is I've had a lot less wait time with Dispatch. So anytime I've showed up, I just go in, I'm only there 5 minutes, I pull around to the back and they load me up. Now, the Sherwin-Williams I've had to go to aren't like a lot of the others that you'll see. You know, they're not as big, so you don't have those bay doors. You're not going to the back directly. You do have to go in, talk to customer service, and then you go around to the back. Or sometimes if it's a small enough order, like 8 of them or something, and they have it right there, sometimes they'll just wheel them out, but typically they just have you go to the back. Now on to the cons. So the app is popular, but it depends on your area. So if you're in an area where the app isn't that popular, obviously it's nothing you can depend on. And when it's not that popular, it gets into the next con is you can't access any bonuses that they're going to give. And this kind of goes with a lot of other gig apps if you're in an area that isn't as busy. But if you're in an area that's not that busy, then you're never going to reach those bonuses that they're putting out there. And Dispatch is just a good example of this because it's just never going to happen in my area. It wouldn't have mattered if I've taken every order they've ever given me. I wouldn't have came close to reaching any of their bonuses. So that is a con, but it's also kind of specified to if your area's busy or not. About 40 minutes north, there is an area that's quite a bit busier, and about 2 hours east, there's an area that's a little bit even more busier, which I'm about to get into here. So one example is the first order I ever had with Dispatch, and I was signed up and active with them for about a month before anything happened. And one day I'm just sitting there, it's about lunchtime, and I was like, what the heck, I'll just turn Dispatch on. And boom, there's an order. And I'm looking at it and I see the price pretty much right away, and I see it's going for $200 something. And I was like, ooh, that's nice, what's that? And it's going 123 miles. It was going over to Detroit. 123 miles for 200, and I think it was $19 or $225. It was something like that. And it was a bunch of stage equipment. Long story short, the order was for the next day, so I show up there, I get loaded up with a bunch of like stage or concert equipment type of stuff. The van was fully loaded. I drive the 123 miles. I do another dispatch while I'm there because on my way there, they sent me a few. And then I also did a couple roadies. made an extra $100, and that totaled my day to just over $300. And so that was a pretty good day. And then I spent the night in the city. And then right in the morning when orders started coming out, I made another $100 in the next couple of hours and then headed home. So really, I could have made $400 had I been able to be there. Because when I got there and after I delivered it, I also had lunch. I took my time because I could, so I actually could have hit 400, I'm sure. And one of the examples also, it's one that's not really so much in dispatch's favor, but it was also kind of my error as well. So I want to put it out there so that way, everybody can stay on top of what they're doing and it doesn't happen to you. So it was early in the morning one. It was like 7 o'clock or something. I show up at Sherwin-Williams, wait for them to open and everything. And what I didn't realize while I'm sitting there, and this is my bad because I've already used the app at least a handful of times now, but, I'm sitting there and all of a sudden my order just disappears like right when the store opens. And I'm just like, oh gosh, oh gosh. And eventually, the order pops back up for somebody to get and I got it. But the problem was I never swiped arrive, right? And in my opinion, it's kind of hard to get after people, if you're going to get after people for being late and stuff. I mean, even like up to the second, and the fact that you can know if they're running late or not, but then if you're going to take an order away from them when they're at the location, it just seems kind of, I don't know, hypocritical or, there's a conflict there somewhere. Because I obviously wasn't running late or anything. There was no reason to take the order away, even though I got it back, which made everything all good. It was a good order. For a second, I'm just sitting there high and dry, and it could have just been a lot worse of a situation for me. I mean, it obviously wouldn't have been terrible, but it's just an upsetting situation when something is that simple. So I'm going to give it an overall review, and we're going to give it a 4.2. There is a 0.1 in there for the benefit of the doubt, so, take it what you will. And it's a little bit higher than a couple and it's lower than some. If the app was more busy for my area, it would obviously be higher. Kind of like the SendPex situation where, if it was more busy, then to the point to where you could almost solely rely on one app, then it'd be worth it. But, one order, 2 orders a month doesn't really help anybody. So, but I would actually 100% recommend getting and becoming a driver for dispatch because, just like my first example of my very first order, in a moment where you're just kind of sitting there waiting for job opportunities, eating up lunch, just wondering, what is there next? And then boom, I get my first dispatch order. And not only was it my first dispatch order, it was almost like my real cargo van order. It was filled to the brim, filled right to the ceiling with a bunch of stage equipment. If I have the picture, actually, I'll put it on here. And it went quite a few miles. It took about 2 hours and whatnot to be able to complete the drive, and only about 10 minutes or so to complete drop off. It was really just unloading, very simple. But I do really, really like dispatch, and I 100% recommend. If you guys enjoyed this information, like and subscribe. Get this news out there. Let everybody know so that way we can all make money. Peace.